And so we begin again. Will Gray asked on the Facey Bookies. Would love to get Dave's reaction on this slobbering caption, laugh out loud, with this photo. There's the photo, and I forget the name of the photographer, but he was shooting the Hemingways for Look magazine uh, on their African trip. History pictures. In 1952, actually it was 1953, renowned author Ernest Hemingway was captured boxing during a big game hunting trip in Kenya, reflecting his larger than life persona and adventurous spirit. Hemingway, known for his love of both physical activity and the outdoors, often sought thrills beyond the pages of his novels. The photograph taken during his time in Africa captures him engaging in a sport that mirrored his rugged, competitive nature, while also highlighting his passion for the intense experiences life had to offer. Hemingway's trip to Kenya was part of a broader adventure that included hunting safaris and immersing himself in the African landscape. Boxing, a sport he enjoyed, was just another example of his desire to challenge himself physically. The image encapsulates the dual nature of his character, the literary giant who crafted some of the 20th century's most enduring works, and the man who lived boldly, seeking excitement in various forms. It was during these trips that Hemingway's works, such as The Snows of Kilimanjaro, were influenced by the people, places, and experiences he encountered. The photograph of Hemingway boxing in Kenya serves as a powerful symbol of the man's complex character and his devotion to living life fully. It is a rare glimpse into the more personal, adventurous side of the celebrated author, showing a man who was as committed to physical challenges as he was to his craft. This image reinforces Hemingway's enduring legacy, not only as a writer, but as a man who embraced life's experiences with a fearless determination. Matt says, so Dave, let him have it. Well, I got to tell you, like looking at the picture, um, Hemingway was 54 at the time, and really, 54 is very, very late for any kind of boxing, uh, even uh, uh, even a playful form, which I think this is sort of trying to portray itself as. Um, you wouldn't if you were a young man of specific character. For one thing, you wouldn't box with a 54-year-old just because you're very apt to hurt him. I mean, uh, a punch that you could take. Um, they're using oversized gloves, but even a punch that you would take uh, in your 20s or in your 30s, in your 50s, it's very apt to give you a concussion. Um, and for Hemingway to be doing that is really, really silly at his age, is my reaction to this. The fact that the caption doesn't allude to any of this, that this is a 54-year-old man boxing with obviously a much, much younger person. Not only that, but the fact that he's so completely out of shape. I mean, he's got the gut on him of he looks like a pregnant woman, which is going to happen when you're in your mid 50s. You can't eat in your mid 50s the way you did when you did in your 20s and 30s, because this is exactly what happens. It's you're you're in your 50s. What do you need all of this nutrition for? Are you planning to grow another arm or something? it's you just need to maintain because you're in the exit ramp. By the time you're in your mid 50s, it's well, how many years have you got left? Well, I don't know. How good care are you taking of yourself? And in Hemingway's case, it was not taking very good care of himself at all, in terms of still, wanting to be the 30-year-old Hemingway when he was in his mid 50s. He was quoted as saying, "I'm a very strange old man." And it's like, well, I don't think you know the half of it. It's not only are you a very strange old man, but you're a very foolish old man in terms of thinking, well, I'm just 54 and that's really no different from being 30. It's like, no, it is a very big difference. Um, you're asking for metaphysical trouble for one thing, which of course he did get on the 1953 safari. If you want to play Superman, okay, you play Superman. Here's two plane crashes, pretty much on successive days, and okay, you got a wound on your head now, and what are you doing with the wound on your head, which is probably a concussion? It's like, well, I'm going down to the bar and having a bunch of drinks. Well, bad choice, as the situation is. The same thing with okay, now there's a brush fire, and okay, you're still recovering from your two plane crashes. Now you're going to go out and fight the fire with guys who are in their teens and 20s, and you're going to be the best firefighter of all because you're Ernest Hemingway and you're great at everything. And it's like, no, you're just going to burn yourself to a crisp, and then everybody has to go in and save you, and then you have to sit burned to a crisp because there's no real um, medical treatment accessible to you. Uh, are you still feeling like Superman? And it's like, he definitely got there was the downside of the metaphysics there, and then there was the upside because he did win the Nobel Prize for Literature the following year. But I think a part of the Nobel Literature Prize in 1954 was the fact that you survived all of that crap in Africa. Here, we don't know what else to do for you, so we're going to give you the Nobel Prize. So there you go. I don't know if that's really let him have it, but that's my reaction when I'm looking at the photo. And now it's January 3rd, and Will Gray, I hope you're still with us, from the Facey Bookies. Um, as usually happens in these situations, if I have more time to think about it, then I go, okay. Say again, Houston. Houston, we have a problem. So getting back to the photograph, it was a bad vital sign that I couldn't remember the name of the photographer because that was critically important. Um, who was Earl Ty Tyson, and on assignment for Look magazine. Um, if you check Form and Void, the trade paperback, Form and Void, the trade paperback, page 722, which is way back in the commentaries. We already established, you can see from the picture there, that Mary Hemingway is writing that Ty is taking pictures of the orphan Grantee. And as you can see, um, that's really not what was happening. It was, I think he said to her, I'm just going to take a couple of pictures of the grantee here. And she went, oh, that's fine. And she was just, writing in her notebook. Um, but what he was actually doing was going, okay, I'm going to get a picture of Grantee in front of Mary Hemingway to make it look like Mary Hemingway is Bambi's mother. Because uh, Earl Ty Tyson is a professional photographer for a news magazine, a top ranked news magazine, Look magazine, which was second only to Life magazine. Um, and he's not there just to, you know, sort of snap photos of, oh, okay, here's the Hemingway's having lunch, so I'll take a picture of that. Here's the Hemingway's walking through the bush. I'll take a picture of that. It's like it's Look magazine. You can do a certain amount of that, but mostly just to lull them into a sense of security. And then you want, okay, what is Look magazine looking for here? I'm not here employed by the Hemingways. I'm here employed by Look magazine, and they want something that Mr. and Mrs. Lunch Bucket America are going to want to grab off of the newsstands and go, okay, that was worth my whatever it cost at the time, 50 cents or something like that. Uh, so ostensibly, we could, it looks like we're looking at Ernest Hemingway in his mid 50s in Africa, deciding to have a boxing match with what is obviously a much younger man and at least the same proportions as Hemingway. Um, uh, and this is just how Hemingway has fun in Africa. Let's do some boxing. Um, I think it's a staged photo in the sense that whatever Ty Tyson had to say to Hemingway to get him to put the boxing gloves on and look as if he was about to have a boxing match with this big young kid, I think was probably along the lines of, I've been talking to the native bearers, and there's one of them who's a real big boxing fan, and Tyson could have found that out pretty easily just by talking to the bearers and going, any of you guys into boxing, or do you know what boxing is, or have you ever heard of boxing? And it's like, um, whoever had a nodding acquaintance with it, it's like, well, Ernest Hemingway, he's not a professional boxer, he's a writer, but he also did a lot of boxing in his younger years. He could probably give you some tips on boxing if you were interested. In which case, I'm sure that the native bearer went, yeah, well, whatever, okay, sure. And it's like, oh, and I just happened to bring these boxing gloves with me from the United States. So then he goes to Hemingway and says, okay, one of the native bearers, I was talking to him about boxing, and he's a huge boxing fan. And then he found out, oh, Ernest Hemingway. Well, of course, he did a lot of boxing in his younger years. Do you think maybe he'd give me some pointers on, basic how you should stand and this, that, and the other thing, and that would have appealed to Hemingway's vanity as a 54-year-old man that he was being asked about boxing for the first time since he was in his probably since he was in his 20s or 30s, and probably went, yeah, okay, yeah, I can give him some pointers. It's like, well, if you want to, just come over here. He's standing there waiting. He's the big guy in the white T-shirt, and it's like, okay, all right. And then, oh, by the way, I've got boxing. I happen to bring boxing gloves with me. Would you mind putting them on so I can take pictures of you giving him the pointers? And Hemingway was probably a little suspicious at that point, but was probably willing to go, well, come on, Look magazine is paying for this whole shot. I couldn't afford it at this point to be sending myself on safari in Africa. It's not hideously expensive, but it's I already did that. I I don't really think I'm going to use whatever money I've got now to go for another safari in Africa. So okay, uh, and yeah, this will look good in the article. It's like yes, it looks as if Ernest Hemingway is going to have a boxing match with this big guy who's 30 years younger than he is. And okay, it's completely made up, but it's good publicity. It's makes me look young and masculine, which is what I want people to think that I am. And so consequently, like I say, I got all of Tyson's photographs, bad copies of them from the JFK library, and I don't remember seeing this shot particularly, and I certainly didn't see um, 30 or 40 shots of how this boxing match actually went, which suggests to me there wasn't actually a boxing match. It was just Earl Tyson doing his job and going, Look magazine will really want pictures of Ernest Hemingway with boxing gloves on if I can manage it. I'll wait and see how everything goes while we're there. And I think I can probably figure out a way to get boxing gloves on him and take a couple of shots. Anything past a couple of shots, and he's going to go, no, no, no. Like now, it's let's see if I can get a shot of this big 25-year-old black kid punching Ernest Hemingway's lights out, which he would have done. You also notice that we can't see whether he has boxing gloves on, the black kid, um, which suggests to me that it was. I brought over a pair of gloves for Ernest Hemingway, but I didn't bring over two pairs of gloves. So you just pretend to have gloves on, and Ernest Hemingway will give you a few pointers on how you should stand and what you should, lead with this hand. Which hand are you, right hand or left hand? Okay, well, you want to lead with your right in that case. That kind of thing. And it's like, okay, we're going to do this just this far and no further. So there you go. That all occurred to me when I went, wait a minute, if I can't remember the photographer's name, then that's part of the problem here. So I'm going to think about this a while longer and go, okay, there you go. Would love to have get Dave's reaction on this slobbering caption, laugh out loud, with this photo. Well, I think we're both looking at the same thing and we're both reading the same caption. I think my description of what we're looking at probably fits the facts a lot more than the caption does. But it's a Hemingway fan, and it's you know Hemingway fans are entitled to make Ernest Hemingway look absolutely immaculate whenever they're describing or talking about anything having to do with him. And God bless him. It's like, where would Ernest Hemingway be today without Ernest Hemingway fans? And where would Dave Sim be without without Dave Sim fans? Like you, Will Gray. And okay, I hope that's it for me and the Hemingway photo.